Imagine you're walking through a forest and a wild fox walks straight up to you, sits at your feet, and looks you directly in the eyes. No cage, no training, no food in your hand. Now picture this. A different fox, in a different forest, sees you from 100 meters away and runs like its life depends on it. Same species, same planet, completely opposite response. Why? Why does one wild animal see a human and feel safe, while another sees the same human and feels nothing but fear? Is it the animal's personality, its past experiences, some ancient biological code written into its DNA millions of years before we ever existed? Scientists have been trying to answer this exact question, and what they've discovered will completely change how you think about animals, and maybe even about yourself. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth. To most wild animals, you are a predator. It doesn't matter that you mean no harm. It doesn't matter that you drove 2 hours to see them, or that you're holding a camera, not a weapon. In the animal kingdom, a large creature walking towards you means one thing: danger. Scientists measure this with something called times flight initiation, distance times, or FID. It's simply the distance at which an animal will start running away from an approaching human. A startled deer in a forest might bolt at 80 meters. A pigeon in a city park might let you get within 1 meter before it moves. That's not random. That's years of experience, either the animal's own or passed down through generations of survival. Here's the key insight. Fear is the default setting for wild animals. It keeps them alive. Every second an animal spends near a potential threat is a second it could be caught, injured, or killed. So evolution has wired them to treat strangers, including us, as dangerous until proven otherwise. The real question is, what makes some animals override that default? Researchers at UCLA made a remarkable discovery after analyzing over 75 studies covering 212 different animal species. They found that times animals living in areas with more human activity were significantly more tolerant of humans' times than those in remote, wild areas. Think about that for a moment. A bird in a busy city park will let you walk much closer than the exact same species of bird living deep in a forest where humans rarely go. Not because city birds are braver, but because they've learned, over time, that humans walking past them are not a threat. Scientists call this times habituation. It's the brain's way of filtering out experiences that turn out to be harmless. Every time a crow sits near a human and nothing bad happens, its brain quietly updates, human, not a threat. And then something happened in 2020 that gave scientists the most unusual experiment they never planned for. During the COVID-19 lockdowns, humans suddenly vanished from cities and parks almost overnight. Animals that had spent years growing comfortable around people started changing their behavior, moving into new areas, shifting their schedules, expanding their territories into spaces they had never entered before. And when humans came back, many animals retreated again. This proves something critical. The trust wild animals build toward humans is not permanent. It is not a gift. It has to be earned, again and again. The animals most willing to trust humans share one thing in common. They are among the most intelligent creatures on Earth. Dolphins times lead that list. These are animals with memory, empathy, and social intelligence that rivals our own. In 2004, a pod of dolphins off the coast of New Zealand famously surrounded a group of swimmers, forming a tight protective circle shielding them from a great white shark until the danger passed. That's not instinct, that's a times decision. And here's the wild part. When that kind of bond forms between an animal and a human, scientists have found that both bodies release the same hormone, oxytocin, the same chemical that connects a mother to her newborn, the same one that makes you feel safe with someone you deeply trust. Trust, it turns out, looks identical in every species. Elephants' times are another extraordinary case. Research has shown that Asian elephants comfort distressed members of their herd through gentle touches and soft sounds, behavior almost identical to human consolation. They've even been documented extending that empathy across species, gently approaching and standing guard over injured animals, including humans they encounter in the wild. Crows' times have demonstrated the ability to recognize individual human faces, and they pass that knowledge to their young. In studies where researchers wore masks and acted threatening toward crows, those birds remembered the mask for years and taught their offspring to avoid the same faces. On the other hand, crows that live near humans who treat them well become so comfortable that they'll feed in the open, make eye contact, and show zero signs of fear, a level of ease that most wild animals never reach with humans. What connects all of these animals? High social intelligence? Animals that have evolved to read complex social signals, to understand emotions, to remember individuals, to make calculated choices about who is safe, are far more capable of extending that skill to humans. There's one final piece to this puzzle, and it's the one that surprises people the most. Wild animals have individual personalities. This isn't poetry, it's science. Studies on burrowing owls found that individuals within the same species showed consistent, measurable differences in how they responded to approaching humans. Some were reliably bolder, others reliably more cautious, and those differences held steady over time. The same pattern has been documented in roe deer, yellow-bellied marmots, and dozens of other species. Just like humans, some animals are naturally more curious and open to the world. Others are naturally more guarded, more private, more suspicious of anything unfamiliar. And those tendencies don't disappear with age or experience. They're woven into who that animal is. This is why you can take two foxes, same species, same forest, same upbringing, and one will walk up to a human while the other vanishes into the trees. Remember the two foxes from the very beginning of this video? This is the answer. It was never just about the species. It was never just about where they lived. Sometimes it comes down to something as simple and as profound as individual character, the same thing that makes two humans react differently to the exact same stranger on the street. So here's what science has actually shown us. Whether a wild animal chooses to trust a human comes down to a layered combination. Its evolutionary history, the environment it grew up in, the experiences it has carried, the intelligence it possesses, and yes, even its own unique character. Trust is not something animals give freely. It is something they calculate consciously, or not, every single time they encounter us. And maybe that's a mirror worth looking into. Because here's the truth that sits underneath all of this science. Animals that have been hunted, trapped, and threatened by humans for generations take far longer to trust us than animals that have never been harmed. The history of our actions toward them doesn't disappear. It echoes across centuries, written into their behavior, passed from parent to offspring, generation after generation. Every species that runs from us is keeping score, which makes you wonder, if we treated every wild animal we ever encountered with nothing but patience, respect, and zero threat, how many generations would it take for the most fearful creatures on Earth to finally stop running? That's the question I'll leave with you today. But first, I want your answer in the comments right now. Have you ever had a moment where a wild animal, a bird, a deer, a fox, anything at all chose to come close to you, even just for a second? What happened, and what did it feel like? Because I believe those moments are some of the most powerful reminders that we are still part of the natural world, and that connection between humans and wild animals is still possible, if we earn it. If this video made you see animals differently, hit that like button and subscribe, because next time, we're going even deeper into the animal mind. You will not want to miss it.